Sara had been awake since 5:47 a.m. She knew the exact time because she'd checked her phone twice before getting out of bed. Once to silence an alarm. Once just out of habit. By 8 a.m., she'd already made breakfast, answered 2 work emails, and talked her 3-year-old Zara out of a meltdown about the wrong color cup. By 9 a.m., 7 tabs open on her laptop, a call in 20 minutes, and a child who needed her attention, the way that 3-year-olds need attention. Completely, urgently, immediately. So Sara did what millions of parents do, every single day. She opened YouTube Kids. She handed Zara the iPad and watched her daughter's whole body go still. And for the first time that morning, Sara exhaled. Maybe you've had that moment. Maybe it was yesterday. Maybe it's happening right now, while someone in your house is watching a screen so you can watch this one. There is no judgment here, not even close. But here's what nobody told Sara in that moment. Here's what nobody tells any of us. While Zara sat there, perfectly still, perfectly quiet, something was happening inside her brain that Sara couldn't see, and understanding what that something is changes everything about what you do next. Okay, so here's the thing about Zara's brain that Sara didn't know. It was in the middle of the most important construction project it would ever undertake. In the first 3 years of life, not the first 10, not the first 5, the first 3, a child's brain creates over 1 million new neural connections. Every single second. Every word Sara spoke to her. Every face Zara looked at. Every texture she touched. The rough bark of a tree, the cold of a spoon, the warmth of a hug. Every single experience was physically, biologically, building the architecture of her brain. The brain doesn't come pre-built. It builds itself. And what it builds with matters more than almost anything else. Researchers, the World Health Organization, the American Academy of Pediatrics, they all point to the same window. Under 2, no screen time at all. Under 5, no more than an hour a day. Not because the content is bad, not because screens are evil, but because in that window, a screen cannot give a brain what it needs to wire itself properly. What does a brain need? Real faces, real voices, real back and forth, the kind of interaction where someone looks at you, responds to you, mirrors you back to yourself. A screen shows Zara things, but it doesn't see her back. So what is the screen doing? Let's go back to Zara. She's watching, completely still. And every few seconds, a new color, a new sound, a new character, something unexpected, and the app rewards her with a burst of music and lights. Inside her brain, a tiny factory, running at full speed. Dopamine. Every new image, every reward sound, every unexpected moment, her brain releases a hit of dopamine, the feel-good chemical, the one that says, more of this. Keep going, don't stop. Here's what nobody tells you about those apps. They aren't designed by accident, they are engineered by teams of psychologists and developers specifically to trigger dopamine release as rapidly and repeatedly as possible. Bright colors chosen deliberately. Reward sounds timed precisely. Infinite content, so the feed never ends, and the brain never gets a chance to rest. An adult brain can manage this. It has full impulse control, a fully built prefrontal cortex that can say, okay, enough. Zara's brain doesn't have that yet. It's still being built. There's no circuit breaker, no off switch, so when Sara reaches over to take the iPad away, Zara doesn't just protest. She falls apart, completely, instantly, like something essential has been taken, because to her brain, it has. That's not a behavior problem. That's not bad parenting. That's a 3-year-old nervous system reacting to dopamine withdrawal, the same neurochemical mechanism that makes adults check their phones 70 times a day is doing something far more intense to a brain that has no defenses against it. Now here's where it gets really uncomfortable, because it's not just about the meltdown when the iPad gets taken away. It's about what happens to the brain when the iPad is still on. The content Zara is watching, and most kids are watching, is designed to switch scenes every 2 to 3 seconds. New image, new sound, new stimulus. Constantly moving, never still. Her brain is calibrating to this speed, learning, at the biological level, what stimulation feels like, what normal feels like, what reality is supposed to feel like. And then Sara looks up at the living room, which is quiet and slow and the same as it was 10 seconds ago, and something that psychologists call popcorn brain kicks in. The real world starts to feel not just boring, but actually unbearable. Her brain is running at a speed that ordinary life simply cannot match. This is why Sara can't sit through a bedtime story anymore, why she cries that the park is boring, why she can't play with her toys for more than 4 minutes before drifting back toward the screen. It's not a phase. It's not personality. Her attention system is being recalibrated. And real life keeps losing. Sound familiar? Because here's the thing Sara doesn't know yet. This isn't just about now. Scientists followed a group of children. For more than 10 years, they measured screen exposure in infancy. Then they waited. They watched, and they looked at those same children at age 8. At age 13, what they found was this. Children who had high screen exposure before age 2 showed changes in their brain architecture, specifically in the networks responsible for visual processing and cognitive control. The brain had matured too quickly in certain areas, specialized too early, locked in patterns before they had a chance to develop flexibility. At 8 years old, those children took longer to make decisions. At 13, they reported significantly higher anxiety. The effects of a screen held in front of a 2-year-old were still showing up in that child's brain. A decade later. Let that land for a second. Sara is 3. She's not a statistic. She's a kid who likes dinosaurs and insists on wearing her shoes on the wrong feet. Because it's funnier that way. But the brain she's building right now, in these years, in these specific months, is the brain she will make decisions with at 8. The brain she will navigate anxiety with at 13. The brain that will be hers for the rest of her life. And here's the part Sara kept circling back to when she read this research. Nobody told me. Not the pediatrician, not the parenting books. Nobody said it quite this clearly. Maybe nobody told you either. Sara read the study at 11 p.m. Sara was asleep. The iPad was on the coffee table. And Sara felt the thing that every parent feels when they learn something like this: guilt. The specific, crushing kind. The kind that replays every moment. Every time she handed over the iPad. Every meltdown she managed with a YouTube video. Every dinner she got through because Peppa Pig was on. So, let me say this as clearly as I can. Sara is not a bad parent. You are not a bad parent. Anyone who has ever handed a child a screen to survive a hard morning is not a bad parent. They are a human being, doing their best. We live in a world that was not designed to support parents, that gives no support, no village, no backup, and then hands us devices that make children quiet and calls it a solution. The guilt is not yours to carry. The information is. Because here's the part of the research that Sara found when she kept reading. The same scientists who found the damage also found the antidote. Among children whose parents read to them regularly, starting at age 3, the link between screen time and altered brain development was significantly weakened. Not erased, not like it never happened, but measurably, biologically, weakened. Because reading together does something a screen fundamentally cannot do. It's interactive. It involves real faces, real voices, real responses. The child looks at you. You look at them. You pause when they point at something. You do the voice of the dragon. You stop and answer the question they're not supposed to ask until morning. That back and forth, that specific, messy, human exchange is what a developing brain is actually built for. And it has been waiting for you the whole time. The next morning, Sara made one change, not a dramatic overhaul. She didn't throw the iPad away. She didn't introduce a complex screen time chart or download a parental control app or read 17 more articles. She just sat down on the floor with Sara and a book. Before the iPad came out, 10 minutes. Sara climbed into her lap halfway through the second page. Sara did the voice of the dragon. Sara laughed so hard, she got the hiccups. Nothing else changed. The iPad still existed. The world was still complicated. But something small and biological and important happened in Sara's brain in those 10 minutes. The workers came back to the construction site. Here's what I want you to take from this. iPad kids are not broken. They are not behind. They are not damaged beyond repair. They are children whose brains responded exactly as brains are designed to respond, to reward, to novelty, to stimulation. The brain is not a fixed thing. It is plastic, it changes, it responds, and the thing it has always responded to most powerfully across all of human history is not a screen, not an app, not any technology we have ever built. It's a person, paying attention, being present, saying, I see you, I'm here. That's still the most powerful thing in the world. And it's still available, right now, in your house, today. I want to hear your Sara moment, the moment you handed over the screen and just needed 5 minutes. Drop it in the comments. No judgment, only solidarity. And if this video landed for you, send it to one parent who needs to hear it, not to scare them, just to inform them, the way you now are. I'm Wired Minds. See you in the next one. And wait. Don't forget to subscribe so that we can make your life amazing with psychology.